Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Summer School. As you can see, same shirt, same look. This is clearly an episode I batched because I'm on vacation. So if you're listening to this, I am currently on vacation. Check my stories if you want to see where I am. It's one of my favorite places. Me and Jake actually met there, got engaged there. Well, we didn't meet there, but it was where our first vacation was. Like a week into knowing each other, I went on his family's vacation they had been going on for 30 years. Crazy. We're not going to dive into that right now, but it was wild. But we fell in love. Here we are. We now have a child and live in LA. So it all worked out and we are back there while you're listening to this. So I'm on vacation. It's very exciting, hopefully. And right now I'm about 3 days out from packing for it while I'm recording this. So pray for me that I figure out how to pack for a child while we shoot a wedding and go on vacation. That's a lot to pack. So we will be shooting a wedding out there. We just so happen to get an inquiry for basically the same place that we go on vacation on the same weekend that the family has been going on the vacation for the past 30 years. What are the odds? Literally crazy. Serendipity, if I were to know what that is, it is this. So very exciting. We're on vacation. I'm stoked. You're stoked. And we're going to be talking about hot takes in some way. So normally when I have a hot take type episode, I have all of you submit something anonymous or maybe not anonymous through my stories on Instagram. This episode, instead of doing that, I decided I was going to find things on Threads and read them aloud and then react to them. And I don't even remember half the things I've selected at this point. So this will be an honest reaction. I'll be drinking my tequila sunrise, and maybe this episode, it could be sponsored by Josh Huggett and the people from the vendor table, because I'm normally not a super opinionated person when it comes to both the podcast and my life. I mean, I'm opinionated, but I don't like sharing them, I think because I'm scared of hurting people's feelings. So this is me trying to be honest. I'm kidding. It's really not that deep, but I actually love how they do business, and I love all of them. All of the people that I've met recently that are such honest people, that some of the honesty is definitely rage bait, but I freaking love it. Go you. It's so cool and so smart when it comes to business. Me personally, being like that scares me. I was low-key scared of Michael from the vendor table and then I met him in real life and I'm like, oh my God, you're the nicest person ever. So anyways, if you are listening to this, Josh or Michael, love you guys. And I'm going to be reacting to things I find on Threads. And it's probably not even going to be near as opinionated as half of y'all's opinions, but we're going to go through them and see what I think, because this just felt like it could be more entertaining than people dropping hot takes in my DMs. So, because if you don't know, people on Threads are they're intense. And I didn't find quite as many intense things as I expected, but I did find quite a few things that I screenshotted. One of the things we'll be covering is the fact that Honeybook crashed out. So that'll be interesting. But I'm going to go from the top of my notes of screenshots and we're going to react. So here we go. And I'll read people's names because I feel like that'd be weird if I didn't. That way you can go find it on Threads if you want to talk to the person and tell them I talked about whatever they're saying, or if you want to go find the thread yourself, feel free. So Jasmine Cares Events, I think that's what her name is. A couple asked for their wedding to remain private, and the photographer declined the job. Reddit, so I'm assuming that means wedding, Reddit, I love Reddit, was in shambles. But here's the thing. I totally understand the couple's disappointment, but the photographer didn't do anything wrong. There's a business side to weddings, and vendors are allowed to have boundaries too. Potential clients tend to fall into two categories: portfolio building or financially building. And then there's an arrow, because I'm sure she wrote more that I did not screenshot. So we'll talk about just the main thread and how I feel. I understand how wedding Reddit would be going psycho over something like this. I don't know what's worse, Reddit or Threads. Honestly, don't know. But personally, there's a lot of people that think that it's wrong to decline a client because they want their gallery or their wedding or their experience to be private. But at the end of the day, while we are public businesses, we do have the right to say yes or no to a client just as much as they have the right to say yes or no to us. A lot of my business is being able to share BTS from things I'm doing, learning experiences from things I'm doing or shooting, photos from the clients' weddings. Like if it was a dream wedding and I couldn't share a single thing about it, it would have to be financially very rewarding, probably more rewarding than anything else I'm doing to take the gig. I know a lot of photographers that do charge a fee for NDAs, private weddings, things to that capacity, and that's not wrong. That's their business and their place to decide. Personally, I've never had someone ask for it to be completely private. I had an engagement session ask that they wanted theirs private, and I didn't care because it just like is what it is. I still wanted the gig, and I didn't feel the need to charge anything extra because it's just a proposal in LA. You know, my job was simple and I delivered well. But if it was a big wedding where I had to spend a lot of my time and I knew that none of it could go into my marketing, maybe I would say no too. Honestly, it's not really worth my time. In today's economy, I need to be able to use things for marketing. I love my clients in photography, but I definitely think I would probably charge more as well if I couldn't use it in any capacity. Like, yeah. When you think about the commercial world, if they're going to own the rights to, say, license your images or own them exclusively, they're going to pay so much more. So I think if that is how you practice kind of your mindset with your weddings as well, I think that's totally okay. I understand some people being like, oh, I think that's disrespectful that the client's photos can't be private. It's an intimate day. I understand that as well. But everyone's going to run their business differently, and you need to do what's best for you and how you run your business, not what's best for everyone else. I don't know. Your clients are really important. Their feelings are important. But at the end of the day, before they are your clients, make sure they're your clients. You know what I mean? Anyways, moving on. Okay, so many photographers are against, this is B. Pendleton Photo. So many photographers are against free work or donated work until these opportunities actually lead them to dream clients willing to pay a premium. Humble yourself and your clients will come. I agree with this. I very much agree with this. The person then said, I guess, so I should read this. To clarify, this is not all the time. Choose what you donate with intention. And also charge what you need to. This is not every session. Relax, y'all. I'm assuming this did not go well for her. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with her. So many photographers are against free or donated work, but they can lead to dream clients. 100% agree. I don't think styled shoots are wrong. I don't think free shoots are wrong. I don't think doing work for free is bad. There's so many photographers who will say that, well, these photographers only charging $200 or doing work for free. They're devaluing the industry. No, they're not. Like, you are not even in competition with this person you see on Threads that happens to be giving away a session for free. I'm sorry. The world is so much bigger than that. And if you think the world is that small, that someone doing a free shoot is devaluing your business, then what value does your business have? You know what I mean? You should not be worried about what anyone else is doing. Focus on you, on the experience you're giving your clients, on how that experience can be of top tier. And if you want to go shoot some dream couple of that you would like to shoot with for free because it would grow your portfolio, freaking go do it. Go have some fun. Like, life is not that deep. Create the work that you feel inspired creating and have fun with it. It doesn't matter if it's free, if you made money from it. It's just not that big of a deal. And if you are one of those photographers who are sitting in your dark basement, frustrated at some other photographer who lives 4 states away, and you're mad that they're doing some shoot for $150 because they are growing their portfolio and putting themselves out there, then I think that's a reflection on you and not them. I can never get behind the bandwagon that people are devaluing the industry. The industry is so big and there's so much room for so many different people. And if you don't think you're getting booked because someone else is charging not that high of a price, that's just not the reason. You need to focus on growing your brand, raising brand awareness, building trust, growing referrals, growing your own brand and not worrying about anyone else. And if you think that people aren't paying you because someone else is cheaper than you or doing shoots for free. That is absolutely not true. You need to put the work into your own marketing and then start talking about what you think might be the issue, because it is absolutely not someone else doing a free session. Okay, moving on. From Dope Shot 2. Client wanted my $1,800 package for $1,200. Instead of defending my price, I said, I understand. Let me recommend someone in that range. She paused and said, wait, what makes your work worth more? And that person said, well, take a look at the other photographer I recommend that's within your budget and come back to me. She did and came back and booked the full price that day. Then they said, sometimes you have to walk away to close the deal. I think this is a really interesting one because I don't know if I recommended someone that was $1,200 and I want to believe in my recommendations. I do believe that I am worth X amount, but if someone doesn't have that amount and I recommend someone, I also believe that they're probably a really great recommendation for that client. You know what I mean? I don't know. This one felt a little heated, a little rage baity, which that's fine, is what it is. I personally, a $600 change, like I don't think there'd be that much of a difference in someone $1,200 versus someone $1,800. I think it'd be, if you were an $8,000 wedding photographer and a client needed someone for $2,000, I do think there'd be a pretty big difference. I wonder if this was a real scenario or if this was something to help grow maybe an educational program or something, but I don't know, I think that is interesting to put in the client's field and say, who do you want more? He could have, or she, I don't know who this is, could have easily lost that client. And instead they said, sometimes you have to walk away to close the deal. I think there's a possibility being confident like that can definitely close the deal. I think you also could have lost a client over $600. In my opinion, my business advice to you, if you hear or read this story, would be maybe instead of saying, here's someone else, take it or leave it, I'm better, maybe say, here's what I could do for $1,200. But here's what you'll get at $1,800 at the price that I'm charging. Because this is what lights me up and what I think will be the best experience for them, and educate them on why that package and that price point is truly the best option for them. You could easily create something that is still worth your time to go out for $1,200 for, that is honestly probably not as good as your initial offer, and say, this is what I could do instead of referring to someone else. But this is what you're going to get when you book my X package. And then I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth potentially losing a client over $600. I don't know. That's my opinion. I just don't think it's that deep. Like, why? Why risk losing a client over $600? Also, still wonder if the story is true, because from what I've seen in business, someone that has $1,200 oftentimes has $1,800. They were most likely going to book that person from the get-go. I don't know. But moving on. Visionaire Media Co. said, photographers, what do you do to cope with pre-shoot anxiety? I thought this would be fun to hit on because it's not necessarily a hot take, but I personally experience pre-shoot anxiety. And I think probably 90% of photographers do. Okay, I'm kidding. Maybe it's only 40%. I have no idea. Would love if there was a study on it. But if you are in the wedding industry specifically and you don't struggle with any sort of pre-shoot anxiety in any capacity, I don't know, maybe an anxious girl, I don't know. But I personally think, are you caring about the client enough? If you're not a little worried going into it, if it's something like a wedding, a proposal, something with any meaning, like I always have some sort of anxiety, like before that thing takes place, whatever it is. So, I mean, to each their own, but I've always said I love that I'm a little anxious before an engagement session, because it shows that I care about how important these photos are for this client. And I hope that everyone in the wedding industry cares that much. I'm not saying you need to be anxious, but I am saying I hope you care. Because if you don't, what's the point? These are like once in a lifetime memories we are talking about. Anyways, moving on. Ways I do cope though, like location scouting, planning, feeling very confident about your lighting, your location, all of those things. I have timelines for engagement sessions. I have timelines for literally everything. I come very prepared. But even then, I'm a little worried, because if I wasn't worried and I'm just checking something off a list, I don't want one of my wedding clients to feel like just another client in the books. Like, I love that I'm a little worried before everything that I do and shoot, because I think for me, it just shows how much I care about every single client. Okay. And next one, let's see. Okay, this was interesting. Jade Marie Moon said, I saw a girl say that whenever she opens TikTok or Instagram, she has to post before she's allowed to scroll. Once she posts, the app unlocks, like reward. And I think this is a very smart way to incorporate create before you consume into your daily scrolling. I love this, because we just had the episode on being more consistent on social media and how it's shown to provide growth within my own business in social media. I think this is a genius idea. You are not allowed to scroll unless you have done your daily posting. I think that's so smart, especially if you're listening to this and you're someone who's trying to actively get work from online people, or sell something online, or grow your community online, whatever you're trying to do online. I think that's freaking genius. If I could actually find an app that like locked my phone and was like, you got to post something before you can scroll, I think that would be really good. One of my students inside summer school, the community platform, he actually said that he has this app that locks him out of Instagram unless he goes and touches like grass. It's called like Touch Grass or something. I don't know. I'm sure you could Google it and I'm sure you'll find out what it's actually called. I don't know what it's called. But literally, he said it makes him go, he like takes a photo of grass and it knows if it's not real grass or like a house plant or something, and it forces him to go outside before he's on social media. I think that's amazing. Like, so long are the days of whatever that's called, when you like time lock yourself out of your social media. Just download this Touching Grass app. I think literally genius. Even if it's raining, go touch some grass. Like, go outside in the morning before you scroll. So smart. And as a business owner, post before you scroll. I will say the only downside to that to me is that sometimes I need to scroll to get inspiration or know what audios are currently kind of in and trending. But I'm sure if you implemented this mindset, then you would post and then scroll, get your inspiration for tomorrow's reel, go to sleep, post, scroll. Like, it would probably become a really good habit and a really good way to go about boundaries online. So I love it. I'm here for it. Okay, now we are on to some tea from Moons and Things Co. There is no panic like a HoneyBook system failure and 4 of your clients texting you at once asking what's going on. Yikes. I love HoneyBook. I've been using HoneyBook since I was 19 years old, which is crazy. Yes, it's getting a little expensive, and with maybe the bookings I have actively going down a little bit, like not out of me not booking things, out of me choosing to focus more on summer school and on the community that I'm building than booking, 40 weddings. So with me taking a little less work in this season of life, will I leave HoneyBook? I have no idea. I have no idea. I love them. I've done ads for them. I've posted about them. I still very much support the program that is HoneyBook, but I wasn't on like threads and social media today to see some of the drama around HoneyBook going down, and systems can go down. Canva was down last week, which affected my business a lot. I use Canva for podcasts, like thumbnails for summer school, the community things and posters and flyers and who knows what. I'm using Canva all the time. Love Canva. Canva was down. That was irritating. That was rough. I've never noticed or seen Squarespace go down, which is really cool. Been on Squarespace for years. But things are going to go down. Bugs are going to happen. It's tech. It is what it is. But The thing with HoneyBook going down was that it literally, I think, erased everyone's contracts, proposals, and questionnaires inside of their HoneyBook, like live action. And I don't think they were responding very well to it. Like, they weren't giving insight of we're restoring it right now. I don't know. I think a lot of ways that HoneyBook has done a lot of things that have gotten them in the hot seat. Love you, HoneyBook. Love you, all the employees that I'm friends with there. But I do think there are ways that they could do better with their communication with the online space when things don't go, in an ideal world or way for them. So, yeah, that is really rough. Luckily, I was disconnected and with no battery charge while I was location scouting. So I didn't even notice that contracts and invoices were down. But yeah, a lot of the issues people have had with HoneyBook I've never had. Luckily, I wasn't on my computer needing to send contracts or notice that they were missing, or I would have probably had an existential panic. So I completely think everyone's feelings are valid, and I'm intrigued to see how this plays out. And by the time this episode airs, all of it probably will have played out. There's a lot of different client managing softwares. All of them will probably have a bug or something hit one day. And if one says that it won't and they're offering free migration because we're perfect, it's tech. Tech's going to have bugs. Deleting contracts is crazy. So I don't know. I still maybe would say if all of your clients are currently in this managing system, it might not be your best idea to transition all of your active clients, but there will also never be a good time. So if this was the nail in the coffin for you, maybe it's your time to look in other directions. Maybe it's my time coming up soon because it is very expensive. But as of now, it's been worth every penny I've ever given them. So I still love it. It is what it is, but that's crazy that happened. Okay. I think it's my last one. Let's see. Okay. Well, some of these are repeats because I screenshotted HoneyBook ones 10 times because there was a lot on Threads right now. It's a very hot topic. But Rachel Ashley Photo said, this one had over 1,000 likes and 300 comments, which is crazy. And I wish I had it pulled up right now to read some of the comments, but some were good, some were bad, some were oh, well, you just lost money. But it says, so you want me to leave my house with $12,000 worth of gear, drive to a location to meet a stranger, shoot your session providing a fun client experience developed through years of photography experience, drive home, store 50 gigabytes of raw photos, cull and edit on my monthly subscription applications, deliver high-resolution images in a professional and password-protected gallery. Wow, this is a long paragraph. While carrying the proper business licensing and insurances for less than $400, that's a no from me, dog. And then it went crazy. And a lot of people were kind of team, well, you just lost $400 then, I guess. And this person's perspective is very valid. I think Threads is a crazy world that they probably got a lot of comments that they weren't expecting. But yeah, I mean, charge what you're worth and decide what that is and market to the right people and all as well. Have some sort of starting pricing on your website. I don't even think you're going to have people saying, oh, but can you do it for $400? You're not going to get that because why would those people even inquire with you? I think a lot of people get the people who maybe have $200 available to spend that have no pricing on the website, no information anywhere about what kind of service they're really offering. Is it a higher end service? I'm not saying this person does that. I'm just saying people in general. And then they're complaining when their clients want a discount or don't have the money for their session. But at the end of the day, were you even educating them on what that would be? I understand not listing your pricing because maybe you want to be able to create a custom experience for clients. I get that. But at the same time, you have to be willing to know that some people just aren't going to have the money for you. And that just is what it is. Market well, and all your problems will be solved. Next. Okay, this one was about HoneyBook again. We're going to fast forward. Oh, well, one person said, Honeybook, I would really appreciate an email or acknowledgement that you have deleted all of our files and are working on a fix. Love a wedding photographer in the middle of busy season. That's so fair. I wonder how long it took for them to respond. I love you, Honeybook, but you know? Okay, this one. Photographers or videographers? How do you feel when a client... Oh, this is from Matt Thomas Media. How do you feel when a client alters your work after approving the deliverables? Do you address it or leave it be? Some of the comments were, I don't care, or I would absolutely address it, all that kind of stuff. In my opinion, maybe I'd be a little bummed personally, but also personally, I would just let it be. Like, is what it is. I got my paycheck, we're moving on. So many people disagree with me on this. And so many people would be like, well, that's a breach of contract. They're not supposed to edit over my work. Like, I don't know. Maybe if it was going on like a billboard, or I would say if they credited me, but they altered the image, I would probably just tell them to remove my credit. Like, don't credit me if you're going to change it, you know? But personally, if someone wants to throw a little filter over it, I don't care. It is what it is, you know? Okay, last one, because it is time to put the baby to bed. Oh my gosh, and I have so many more that I screenshotted. Okay, maybe I'll do 2 more. Wedding photographers, it is very weird when you make a fake email address to create a fake inquiry to receive someone else's pricing guide and then use their copy on your website. Very, very weird. And then my good friend Jake actually said, LOL, it's dumb, and they could just ask me and I'd probably send it to them. I love him. Okay, so I also would say that is very, very, very weird. Sometimes when I get inquiries that don't have much detail, I kind of wonder if it's people just low-key wanting to know what I charge or see my pricing guide, which I sell my pricing guide. So that is uncomfortable. Would I ever know that they stole this information from me? No. And hopefully I would just never find out, because I would rather just not know. Honestly, if we're being real, I don't want to know. If you steal something from me, is what it is. One time I saw someone trying to trade my presets for free, which is illegal, on Reddit, and they literally said who they are, and this person has like 40 to 50,000 followers on Instagram, and they're like, oh yeah, like, oh, you want Summer's presets? Just DM me and you give me this person's presets. In Reddit, publicly saying who they are and trying to build a platform for themselves as an educator. Like, instant loss of respect. I can't imagine outing yourself publicly in that way. It still blows my mind to this day. So anyways, if you're going to steal something from someone, honestly, maybe just like become their friend. Like, come on. Or if you want something like a pricing guide, if you join summer school at $40 a month, you get my pricing guide for free, as well as like 12 classes, a community of people, and other resources for free. Like there's like so many random things in there. So yeah, don't steal. Just put in the work to find the resources. It's really not that hard. Let's be real. And then we have one more. Okay, maybe we have 2 more. We need to stop posting your editing queue. This is from Sophie Rose Photo. We need to stop posting the editing queue on your IG stories. Your communication with your client should be so transparent that they're not even left wondering when you'll get to their gallery. Potential clients also don't care that you're giving off booked and busy. That is so true. I agree with that so much. I honestly, as a business coach and business person, I find it really, really unprofessional when you're posting that you have 20 galleries to edit. There's no reason. We don't need to post that. Like, genuinely work on your work, get it done, send it to your clients. It's not showing, oh my God, I'm so busy. It's showing, oh my gosh, I don't know how to manage my time. That's all I have to say. I mean, I could elaborate more, but I'm not going to, because we need to wrap this up. So the last hot take from Sam Hurd, love him. When I thought of this episode, I said, I'm going to Google Jake Foshmeyer, not Google. I'm going to go on Threads, look at Jake's and Sam's threads. And this one's from 2023. Sam, so if you're listening, I really stalked you. But hot take, photography educators should be actively photographing weddings. This was in 2023. And if you heard anything about the last vendor table episode, they literally talked on this. Josh said something about this and Instagram decided they actually didn't agree with him. I commented and said, I actually agree with this. The day that I stop shooting weddings, I honestly really hope I'm not teaching. It does feel a little disingenuous. I think there's obviously things that you can teach. Even if you're not shooting weddings, of course, you can teach like how to take photos or how to use your camera. But if you're teaching how to book weddings in today's market and you are not even in today's market, I don't love it, because oftentimes the people that are teaching those things are the people who actually couldn't do it themselves. And there's a reason they're teaching, because they found that they could make more money preying off small entrepreneurs just trying their best to make a living than they could off being a wedding photographer. They're trying to make themselves look really successful and look very grand, but deep down, they couldn't even book enough work to support themselves. That is a lot of the reality of a lot of the educational space of photographers. So be warned. What Josh said was so true. What Sam said is true. Like, I do think at the same time, there's always someone newer than you. So I think anyone can teach. Anyone has a space to educate in their own way. But yeah, if you're going to teach on booking weddings and you can't book weddings, like, maybe don't teach on booking weddings. Like, I taught a program called Book More Work, and I've taught on marketing. I love marketing. I still have a lot of inquiries coming through. I've changed sides of the industry. I've pivoted multiple times. I have passive income. I've moved in my career multiple times. I have things that show that, like, genuinely, I'm really passionate about business and marketing, and I hope to help inspire you to succeed in that as well. So if you're going to take things from classes from photographers, just make sure that they actually can book a wedding and can book maybe a wedding in the field that you're looking to be in. And I don't know, like, I have seen, friends who I love dearly be like, hey, I'm having a coaching program on helping you book more work, and they can't book more than 3 weddings. And that's not a diss on them. It's just like, maybe teach on something else. Teach on like the creativity of it. Don't teach on marketing, you know? Yeah. Okay, I think that should be the end. I literally have so many more screenshotted. Threads is a wild place. Don't go on there if you want to think happy thoughts, but if you ever want to see some tea, that's your place to be. And if you want to learn about photography, grow in community, join us over on Summer School, the community. There's a link down in the description. You can get my pricing guide for free. You can listen to our social media panel that we are having, or maybe have had. No, it will be coming up very, very soon from this episode releasing. So if you want to hop in there for it, you can ask all things social media to me, Angela from Social Templates, and Stacey Brooks. Go ahead and hop in. $40 a month. You get my pricing guide for free when you join, which is $40. So you might as well come join us for a month. And yeah, you can just dive into this community that you're listening to so much deeper. So I can't wait to see all of you there. Can't wait to host more events. We had our first in-person event last month. That was so fun. And I just can't wait to see this community grow and for myself to do so as well. So I will catch all of you next week. If you loved this, share it with a friend. And if you ever have a certain guest that you would love to have for me to have on, go ahead, hit me up in the DMs. I love having conversations with people, and I love knowing who all of you are interested in hearing from. New guest episodes are coming really soon with some really awesome people. So if you want me to add any more to that queue, go ahead, hit me up. I love to hear about who you want to hear from. That's all. Goodbye for now, and I will catch you guys next week. Bye, guys.